We are live. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the first episode of The Array. I am your host, Jared, and to kind of commemorate this exciting new venture I'm doing, we actually have a very exciting guest. She is a freelance model, photographer, and avid gamer. Everybody meet Sirena.
Hey.
Hey. Love it. Love it. But yeah, I'm one of the main reasons I was so excited about getting you on is because after you did your podcast with Lena, she let me know that you were actually dabbling into doing some live streaming. And I just thought that was like really exciting considering everything else that you do.
Yeah. So last year it's been more of a progress step, I guess, because we've been gaming for a while, me and my husband have. And eventually it got to the point that it's like, I invested into a gaming computer back in 2018. And I was like, I need to finally actually start using it for what it was intended for. And now I don't play much PC games, but I do use it for streaming on Twitch. I've done a little bit on Facebook gaming, but I like the functionality and the way Twitch is versus Facebook gaming right now. It could change at one point in time.
Right. Yeah. I know like a lot of things with Twitch are just getting, they're just getting like so crazy because I don't know if you heard about this, but there's the whole like DMCA thing that's just like wrecking a bunch of like prominent streamers because of the music that's being played in the actual games. Like not even music they play to like kind of, establish it like an atmosphere or like something that's kind of like chill. It's really just like the music that's in the game is getting flagged.
Yeah, and I've actually had that happen before. They would, I play GTA 5 sometimes, and it muted my audio. Like when I uploaded it on, I think it was Twitch, and it muted my audio because in Grand Theft Auto, they like have background music playing like while you're driving the car and stuff.
Right.
And I didn't think too much about it through that whole stream until it took the audio feed after I'd uploaded it. And so, you see my game, but you don't hear me at all.
Right.
Yeah. That's kind of unfortunate.
Yeah. That's one of those things that like always irritated me because it hit YouTube a few years ago where a lot of the gamer YouTubers were just getting DMCA'd left and right by essentially licensing companies. Like they weren't even the record labels themselves. They were just licensing companies that were being like spun up and just claiming everything and taking everyone's money. And there was this huge fiasco when that was going on. And now it's like happening to Twitch. And so I'm like a little bit nervous about it because I'm kind of like, man, I do not want them to like start getting into the pockets of like, like lesser known streamers, because, if you're a prominent streamer, most of your money is coming from subscribers. So the worst thing that can happen is you get kicked. Yeah. From sponsors. Yeah. So like the worst thing that happens, you get kicked from Twitch and you have to use a different platform. But the ones that are actually like a little bit more dependent on the ad revenue, like that could just get swooped up and taken away.
Yeah. I've ever since then, I've been pretty cautious. Like I make sure I don't have like music playing in the background, like with me, like audio wise. And then I make sure, when I play Call of Duty or I play different game and stuff like that, I make sure, I have the actual music in the background turned off, like in the settings. So when it does record, it doesn't catch that. So there's some ways around it, but then there's some times where, like myself, didn't pay attention too well, and I had to learn from firsthand experience.
Right. Yeah, that's normally how it goes, though. It's like it's that first time you actually experience it for yourself, where you're just kind of like, oh, this sucks, and then like if that was your livelihood, you're like, I feel for them now for sure. But leading into a question that I have for you, like, what are you playing right now? Like, what's the game of choice?
I play a lot of COD. I have all of them.
Gotcha. Call of Duty for the uninitiated.
Yeah, Call of Duty. Right now I'm playing Modern Warfare, Call of Duty Modern Warfare. I don't know. I've always liked the graphics, the way that the game plays. Like I like being able to play with teams and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
I know that there's some games that you can do like by yourself, but I am more of a person that likes to enjoy it with someone else. Like I want to beat someone else.
Right.
I like the competition in it. So being able to, I guess, throw down on some Warzone or wrecking people on shipment is the best. Like I don't want to say I'm like really, really, really good. But lately I have been finding out that I'm not like horrible, which I never really thought I was horrible. But I'm really pretty decent when I'm like in the, I guess I have to be like in the right mindset and stuff. And after a while, I mean, I've gotten like 75 plus kills playing shipment, and my KDR is like great. So I'm pretty good when I really I want to say I put effort into it, but there's some days that, I'll play second or third, but then there's some days that I'm on first, like every single round. And either I'm carrying the people that's on my team, which really sucks. It's like, get your shit together. Or I'll be on the losing team, but I'll be first. And it's like, no, man, I mean, like, I don't want to be the losing team. Like, I've been putting all this work into it, and no one's like help carry me a little bit.
Right. Yeah. So it sounds to me like what you really like out of a video game is you like the win condition, the competitive part. Yeah. So whenever, like, even if you do incredibly well, it doesn't really mean anything if you lost the match.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I like it when, I mean, I like seeing that I'm on first. Like, that's obviously a given, but it's like, even after, like, if I'm like, what sucks is if I'm first and my score is higher than the other first person, and yet we lost, that really makes me aggravated. It's
right.
Like, I have a higher score than everyone on here, and yet I didn't win. So
yeah. Yeah. And that's like the inherent issue with like team-based games is that, you're really only as good as the team.
Yeah.
Like, there are some people that not only carry the teams, but carry the match, but they're so rare. And those type of people, like they go into being like, professional FPS players, because those people are nuts.
Yeah.
Like, just the little nuances to their strategies of overcoming things is just crazy to watch. And I think that's really what kind of like birthed the whole like streaming thing in general, is just like watching these like incredibly good people take on these like insurmountable challenges and like somehow come out winning. It is just nuts to watch.
Yeah, I don't really know so much about like what really started streaming, but the ability to actually see people play and the commentary and being able to actually do it with other people, that's something that I enjoy a lot. I would say it's like a sport. I know that some people would probably say it's not, but I mean, it gets my heart pumping. And I know people get like very aggravated and get really heated in the game. So, I mean, some sports get you heated too. So,
yeah, I am definitely a believer that esports needs to be treated pretty much like any other kind of sport. And really, it's because the argument that it's not is really predicated on is basically gaming's not physical, quote unquote.
Oh no, my fingers hate me afterwards, so that is not true.
Exactly. It's like there is a physical aspect to it. And it's like maybe you're not like in the best shape of your life to play, Call of Duty, but there are things that you have to do in order to like get an edge above somebody that involves strategy, it involves tactful play. Like, it involves these aspects of any other sport in order to get the win. So it's like, I don't know how you can make the argument that it's not a sport, but I feel like that's going away in general because we actually have a couple of schools that are sponsoring like full-on teams now for like esports teams.
Yeah, I was, it was a couple months ago, maybe not too many months ago. Call of Duty has this like app where you can like do these challenges each week for Modern Warfare, and I think they do it for Black Ops as well. But each week it like groups you with a squad, and then you guys have to like either basically one time it was like everyone had to get up to 200 wins in like Warzone, something like that. So the whole team, and there was like maybe 20-30 people in it, and they would have to like get to that. And if you came in first, you would win like a certain type of like drop box in the game. And so me and my husband, we did it for a little bit, and I think we came in first or second in one of the matches, which was really fun, which I'd like to do some more stuff like that. I don't know, finding the time to know when that stuff's going on and to apply to do those kind of things is kind of, I guess, finding the time to do research on it.
Right. And then, of course, you know, the whole balance with when can you game and when do you have to work, that becomes like basically a challenge in and of itself.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like one of the reasons like I'm going to be getting into streaming and I'm using this podcast as kind of like the platform to kind of do it, is because like for me, I'm very like, I think the word would be like I'm goal oriented. Mm-hmm. So whenever I'm playing a game, I can get into the game and like achieve the goals and I feel happy about it. But then I'm like, I have that point where I take a step back, and in real life, I'm like, man, I didn't get much done because I was playing video games all day. And then it's like, okay, well, I need to figure out a way where I can like trick my brain into thinking like, hey, this could be monetarily productive for you.
Yeah.
So now I can excuse I'm playing video games. But like for me, it was just like, I got to figure out a way to make money. Because I basically left the whole, employee scene. I'm pretty much done with that.
Yeah.
That like, that was awful formative years. And like, I'm glad that, yeah, like I'm glad that more people are like kind of waking up to the fact that like that kind of ladder, it has the potential to lead somewhere, but is it somewhere you're going to be happy? And for most people, it's just no. Like you're not going to be happy, you know, being at a call center for 20 years and being a
robot.
Yeah, like a robot, like a third tier manager that just gets yelled at all day. Like that's just not living. Like, I mean, more power to the people that do that. Like if you do that and that's your job and you like it, you are, you know, a god. Because it was not for me. I'm just way more into the design, development, creative aspects of things. So being like technical support, which was really where I had this realization of like, I hate this, came from like getting away from that and getting into doing design work. And then, you know, wanting to pursue something like this has like been a godsend.
Yeah, I feel you on that. Cause I do a lot of freelance work myself with photography, and then obviously modeling as well. So opening up to streaming wasn't like foreign. It was just like another way of just being able to help bring income in. Have I done that yet? No, not yet. It's more. It's going to take a while to get a following, which that I'm perfectly fine with. I mean, you'll get picked up eventually if you're decent. And I mean, I still have a bit of time that I want to like, I have like my equipment is good. But I do want to get some better things. I want to get like a better, gaming chair, which would look better in streaming. Plus it probably would make me feel better when I stream too. And then there's like,
I may have a recommendation for you there.
Yeah.
On the chair front. It's actually not like quote unquote a gaming chair, but it's probably one of the most comfortable chairs I've used in my life. I will admit to you, it's a little pricey.
Oh, okay.
So just FYI on that front, it's a little expensive, but for me, it was like well worth it because even if I'm not playing games, I'm sitting in front of a desk, you know, just coding essentially and designing. So it's kind of like if I'm just sitting down all the time, I need to have like a solid chair, and the one that I picked up is pretty awesome. So I'll kick you a link because they don't sponsor this. I'm not going to say their name here.
Yeah, that's good.
Well, maybe they will. That would be awesome. I would love for them to sponsor the show. That'd be dope. Okay, I'm actually going to switch gears and go into another kind of question that I had for you, and it was actually spawned out of a Facebook post that you had put up. So I just wanted to kind of get your thoughts on like how has the experience been being just a girl gamer? Like from your, yeah, I know, right? It's like immediately it elicits laughter and just like probably a tinge of frustration, because I know the community can be a little like weird with not just girls that are gamers, but girls that are good at games.
That's the big
another
thing. That is the biggest thing. Like, so when people say, "Oh, you play video games," like you play Switch, like things like that, and nothing wrong with that. I mean, I don't really care what platform or game console that you play on, but like I said, I don't want to say like I'm like the best, because I know I always have way to improve. But I am pretty decent, and lately I've been doing like these. It's kind of like a poll kind of thing. And a lot of people that have responded, they were obviously guys, and they did not like, it came back down to it that I was probably better than more than half of them at least. And so it's like, man, I'm like, and they didn't really think that I would actually be good. Like their responses was like, "Oh, you're actually good." And I'm like, well, yeah, why would I play if I wasn't good? To me, I don't think I would enjoy video games as much if I wasn't good. But I know people play that. People do play video games even when they're not good, which is great because you can improve. Hopefully.
Right. Yeah. Hopefully you can improve. But I mean, there are some masochistic people out there. Like, so I can speak from experience on this one because I'm a huge Dark Souls fan, and I love just like going up against this giant fucking monster thing that kills me in like one hit, and I have to spend 30 minutes chipping away at his life until I finally beat him. Like, I personally, I love that, as compared to like going into like a COD situation where the goal is your team needs to beat that team. And I hate the idea that I could feel so dependent on other people that I lose.
Sometimes I play hardcore. So really it's then you're your own person. And that's usually when I've actually done a lot of my best, when I don't have to carry someone else. And which in a team game, though, it is a team effort. Like Warzone, obviously, you do need a good team and a good squad for Modern Warfare. But if you're just doing multiplayer, I when I was streaming earlier, I'm trying to think, it was earlier last year, I was doing a lot of hardcore, and I was at first like really hesitant about playing it, just because it's like literally you don't have that ability to like revive yourself. It's like one hit and you're done. Like it's not like it's like more realistic. It's like, okay, I'm not gonna shoot in your head 5 times and you're still walking, which gets really aggravating at times. But yeah, I play with both, but I've noticed that when I do play by myself and I don't rely on a team, that I tend to be either like first and most of the games that I play.
Nice. So that leads me to another question, because you mentioned earlier that you have a gaming PC, but that you're using it mostly for streaming. So what's your console of choice then? 'Cause it sounds like that's where you're actually playing the game.
Yeah, I play PS4. We have 3 in our house, so we are a bit overkill.
Yeah, we kind of do the same. Lena's got her Xbox and I've got my PS4 and my gaming PC. So
yeah,
we're device heavy.
Yeah, we don't like sharing. Or let's say we don't like split screening when we play games. Like it's horrible. Like who wants to fuck share? I don't know. I would like when we had one PlayStation, it was like, okay, well, we would split screen, but it was just like, yeah, this isn't fun. Like I'm barely like being able to see half the screen. And then now I finally got one, and then we have a third one now. So it's just like, and I'm probably going to be getting the PS5 too.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, I am. I just trying to hold off, maybe see if someone's going to buy it for me first.
There you go.
Or win it before I'll probably end up buying it, just knowing how I am. But
yeah, that's probably what's going to happen to me too. Like not probably. That for sure will happen to me, because God of War 2 Ragnarok is going to hit at some point, and I know that's PS5.
Yeah.
So I'm going to throw down money for that.
I haven't gotten to play the first one. My husband, he actually did recently purchase it within the past 6 months, and he was playing it for a while, which it looked really good.
Right.
I think I was watching him play for a couple hours one day, and yeah, it was basically like what you were saying, that there was this big warlog or whatever it was, and he was having to consistently kill it over and over and over again, and like defeat its like shield or whatever it was. And I've played games like that. I'm trying to think what the game is called. Oh, it's on the top of my head. It is a first person game. Hold on. Horizon. I think that's what it is.
Oh, Horizon Zero Dawn.
Yes, that's it. Horizon Zero Dawn.
Yeah, the dino
that's what it is.
dinosaur robots.
I felt like a retard that I couldn't think of that. But yes, it is actually I was playing that for like one day, like 3 days straight. It was really good. And the only issue is it's a download, so it came pre-installed already on the PlayStation, and it's our third one. So the only time I can play with that one is if I go in there.
Is it like a PS4 bundle sort of thing? Yeah,
it came with that, and it came with one other one, and I can't remember what the other one was. I think that other one is also God of War. But I prefer to be able to. I don't like having to switch out PlayStations, and that one it's not connected to my computer. It's in another room, so to me, I'd have to switch out PlayStations, and all my real games that I play are on this one. So it's like
Gotcha.
I play it when I want to, like when I know I'm gonna when I really, really want to get away from like COD and stuff. It switched things up, but I think I'm stuck at a part right now on it that it was just really getting me pissed off. So I just like, screw it.
Yeah, no, I'm the same way. If I hit that wall where I'm like, I cannot get past it in like 2 to 3 hours, I need to like take a few days of a break.
Yeah.
Otherwise I'm just getting elevated, and personally, I'm just afraid I'm going to break my controller.
Yeah,
I only have the one. It
was getting intense. And it was like my rank wasn't high enough when I was crossing over into like these worlds. And I was like, yeah, I'm just going to keep getting wrecked until so I had to go like, it was kind of hard for me. I had to go do smaller missions. And I was like, well, I don't really feel like walking clear across the map right now. So I think I tapped out on it.
Yeah. And that's such a struggle with open world games, is that the level balancing gets really difficult.
It does.
Because you want to try and progress a main story, but you want to make the main story challenging. So you have to make people do the side quests. And then you're just like constantly doing this stuff that you like don't really care about. That's basically what happened to me with Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Because I like the direction the Assassin's Creed games have going this like open world kind of exploratory route, more RPG like. But the biggest problem I had with Odyssey is that it just felt like I had to do a bunch of like tedious crap just so I could progress the main story. And then after progressing the main story, it's just kind of like, oh, I got, a cutscene that was maybe 3 minutes long and told me very little about what's going on in the world. So it like just never felt worth it. And so I eventually just like tapered off and stopped playing.
Yeah, that's kind of like, I was playing Destiny for a while.
Yep.
It was, I think PlayStation allowed it like on PlayStation Plus, that if you have,
it's still free.
Yeah,
it's still free right now.
So this was maybe a year or so ago, could have been a little bit longer. And we played for a bit on it. And it was kind of basically the same thing. I would get to a point where it was just like, okay, well, I have to do all these side missions, which some of the side missions were fun, because some of the side missions in that game was more of like it was kind of weird, because it's like you actually got to bring in people in the lobby to play with the side missions. That I like. Some side missions, though, it's not like that in some games. And it's really like once you get to that side mission, you're by yourself. So I do like the collaborative effort where people do join in and you don't really know who it is. That's fun. It's just different, I guess, for each gaming system and each game that they choose. Another one that I was playing that was pretty good was the Tom Clancy Division 2. I don't know if you played that.
Yeah, I haven't actually played it, but I did play the first Division game, and then I think I for some reason I tapered off on that one. I think it was because it was before they had any content patches for like new stuff, and I ranked. I was at like highest level, highest rank, whatever it was called. I don't remember, but I was already there, and it was like there's not really much more I can do here, so I just have to wait. And then by the time they had a content patch, there was another game I was interested in playing, and I just started playing that. But I am familiar with like the formula for like the Division, because it is very similar to Destiny in a certain respect. I know the gameplay is a bit different because Division's third person, where Destiny's like strict first person.
Yeah.
Until you do like certain moves and stuff. But I definitely like the idea of like raids and like group dungeons, quote unquote.
Yeah.
Because it's one of those things where you can solo play games like that, but you're going to hit a wall where you're like, this just isn't fun anymore. You got to play with other people.
That's what it is. See, I was playing that for a while, and then it just got to the point that I didn't have really anyone to play with. But then I don't know, I've like streamed, and some people will catch me. Like I'll play some older games that I don't play as much and stream on there to see hopefully if people, you have a higher chance of getting people to follow those streams than playing the main games, they say. So like I was doing that for a while, and I've had people follow me and add me on PlayStation to do that, to play like other games. So if I ever go back and play it again, which I will, I don't know. When I always open up the PlayStation, I always just hop on COD right now. I don't know. It's like muscle memory, and
right.
I don't know. Like I really like it. Maybe if there was another game out there that was better than COD.
Yeah, I mean, I totally get that, because like right now I am going ham on Ghost of Tsushima. 'Cause I don't know if you're familiar with that game. It's open world RPG, but it's like samurais. But they have a multiplayer expansion that they launched that is like phenomenal. Like I love playing it. It's actually it's almost to the point where I'm like worried if I'm addicted, because that's like the first game that I think about playing. It just immediately I'm like, Ghost of Tsushima, fire up Legends mode, and like let's go. So yeah, I totally get that muscle memory of like the PlayStation's now on, and you just immediately go to the game that, you know, I guess it's your body telling you this is what you want to play. So listen to me. I
mean, I have other great games that I could play. Like I have Red Dead Redemption 2, but that also is like a game that you do need people to help, because you got to do all those submissions to actually even get stuff. Like, okay, for after a while, I'm like killing all these animals and trying to get this gold and stuff, which I love the graphics of it. If I really talk about anyone's graphics on the game, I could just walk around and just take photos in the game, because it has that ability. And it's a really, like, the way that they engineered it and built it, it's great. That's one thing I can't wait for, like the PS5. Like some of what they say of how some of the games are going to look on there, it's just going to be amazing. So,
right, yeah. I wonder if we're actually going to get any type of like. I mean, I know that for both the Xbox and the PlayStation, it's AMD based graphics. So I don't know if we're actually going to get anything that's like RTX style, but that would be awesome, because like I'm a huge fan of the whole like RTX incorporation from developers, just because it does wonders to make the world feel more immersive, because it's finally allowing individual assets to essentially cast light from each other, so you get more authentic feeling, like reflections and stuff. It's not like a programmed reflection, it's actually native to the asset, so it just feels more real. But yeah, I'm super excited to see like what they're going to be able to do with the next gen consoles, especially considering like some of these things are ready to go for like 8K resolution TVs, which is like insane to me. It's like, who needs 8K? Like that's a bit much.
Yeah. And I mean, at what point, where is our eyes going to be actually going to be capable of actually seeing the difference? Like that's where it to me is, yeah, it's cool. Technology is advancing, but is there going to be a point where, you know, like our eyes are human eyes, but they're not like telescopes. They're not like microscopes. You know, we can see things, but at one point in time, is it just going to be to the point that it's just another number, or is it really actually going to look pleasing?
Yeah. So here's my prediction on that. Actually, it goes into the VR and like the virtual reality argument, because in order to get like a good experience from VR, I think the current metric is you need to be able to have 90 frames on each monitor, quote unquote, because the way the goggles work is like it's a separate monitor for each eye, and then it like combines it. So you have to get like 90 frames for each side. So if you can get 4K resolution at 90 frames or 8K resolution at 90 frames, and you have these like up close monitors that are basically like right next to your eyeballs, then it's going to feel like way more immersive. But it's still one of those things where it's like, yeah, there is going to be a limit where resolution doesn't matter as much. You can only have so many frames in a second before it's like, it's arbitrary. I think 144 is like already kind of there, which is like where we're at right now.
Yeah.
That's like, well, that's not true. 240 is like the top tier, but no one buys 240 hertz monitors. Those are too expensive. But you know, then it's like there is going to be that cap, and it makes me wonder, like, okay, what's the next step from there? Is it just going to be like, I don't know, like, are we going to develop physics engines as a part of the game that just like mirror real world existence? And in which case it's like, man, VR gets a little scary when you start talking like that.
Yeah. I think like I see how VR has adapted. Like I haven't done much VR personally. The only reason why is they really say that if you are sensitive to light and things like that, like passing out and stuff like that. So they're really, if not, I do pass out pretty easily. So to me, I haven't really decided to invest in VR yet, because I don't want to be like, oh, well, here's, you know, a lot of money. And then it's like, oh shit, I can't even play it.
Right.
But it just makes me think of how fast technology is advanced and how much better games are advancing in each year. Give it 20 years. I mean, what are we going to have in 20 years from now? I'm like, logistically, it's just like, what's going to be like the next big thing? Like, it's mind boggling. Like we have what we have now. I'm kind of at the stage is like, how could it get better? Like what?
Right.
You know?
No, so yeah, like I think another thing that's really going to take off, and it's something I've been experimenting with a little bit. I think that streaming games is actually going to become that next step. And the reason I think that is because eventually we're going to get to the point where, you know, well, I say eventually, hopefully we'll get to the point where, you know, everybody has something that's either comparable to fiber or having fiber-like connections. Yeah. And if you have something like that, streaming a video game is like practically seamless. Like whenever you're on like traditional internet, you can definitely tell there's input lag. It's a little bit rough to play something like a first-person shooter, but if we expand like how many data centers are accessible for people, and then like fine tune the routing, like streaming a game is going to become like the next thing, because then you don't even need to have a console or a PC gamer, like a PC that's capable of gaming. You can literally go straight to, well, I have this Chromebook, and then just fire up, you know, yeah, like you can literally do that right now. Like with Google Stadia, you can just like pull up a AAA title on your Chromebook and sit there and play it with a controller. It's nuts. It's like, I think that's going to become like, I think that's the next big step for games, is that it's going to be not only VR, which is going to kind of take over things for a bit, but then it's going to be streaming VR. And that's my prediction for like 20 years from now. Streaming VR games. I called it here.
Yeah, I'd like to first play VR before I buy it. And then if I do well on that, the only thing I hear though with VR is they really say that you need like the space. And I mean, I have space, but I don't know, like
man, you're going to be tripping and falling over all sorts of stuff. Well, that's just part of it.
That's the thing. I'm very clumsy. Like literally, just earlier this past week, I was loading the groceries into the refrigerator, and I knocked my head on the freezer corner of it, and like I probably gave myself a concussion because I was like so close to throwing up, and I'm just like, I can't be doing that while I'm playing video games.
Yeah, you're reminding me. There's this thing that's been circling Reddit lately of this guy playing some game, and he's like, you can see the TV in front of him. He's like walking on this it's like an I-beam from like a construction site, and he's like way up in the air, and he's just like balancing on it, and then he jumps. But he didn't jump in game; he jumped in real life right into his TV and broke it.
Oh my gosh!
It's just like that type of stuff's going to be all over the place whenever like it really takes hold. Is people are just like, you get acclimated to it and you forget that like
it's not
how you're moving in real life.
Yeah,
is being mirrored.
I'm gonna injure someone if I did that.
Right, you're just gonna like swing your hand to the left or the right, and you're trying to kill some monster, and then you're just like beating the shit out of your husband.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds pretty realistic to me. Like I feel like a lot of people have got VR injuries. Like that should be a subreddit in and of itself. Like VR injuries. I need to start that.
That'd be fun.
So I also wanted to get into just real quick, because we are running a little short on time. There was one other thing I wanted to get into, which was just this a little bit more on like the personal level of what was your first experience with video games? Like, do you remember that first time you played a game? Do you remember like what that feeling, that nostalgia was?
Yeah. So I'm trying to think like what the very first game was or console that I played on. I know it was either I'm trying to think of real console, but I guess every console is technically a real console because if you go back and try to buy them now, some of the old ones are worth money now. So
for sure.
So I mean, I've played like old Nintendo games when I was younger, so that was fun. Where we would pop them in and then play them. And then I remember the first console that I think my parents or my mom let me actually buy was a GameCube.
Nice.
And so that was fun. I think the most game I played on there was, oh gosh, Animal Crossing, of course.
Of course. Right. I was going to say, it's got to be Animal Crossing. Like that's the one everyone remembers.
Yeah, I played that. And then there's this other one. I can't remember. I can't remember what it's called. It's been so long. That I used to play on there as well. But I remember also, I think it was a PlayStation. I don't even know what. I mean, it definitely wasn't a recent one. It was one of those like small gray ones.
Ooh, PS1.
Yeah, it was a PS1. Yeah. So I remember playing like a NASCAR game on there for a while. And that was kind of fun because it was a different feel than playing on a game like GameCube. But I also remember playing one of the Chronicles of Narnia games, and I guess that was one of the biggest times that I remember actually completing a game from start to finish.
Yeah. That's always a good feeling.
Yeah, it was. I remember trying to kill this monster in it, and it literally took me days to finally get it. And one day I finally did, and I was just like, oh my gosh. And I was like, I can't believe I finished it, Right. But yeah, looking back at that and how it's advanced, I think from there, I remember, I think I was like, probably like 16, 17, and I started picking up Xbox 360. And that's when I really started getting into actually learning how to play like first person shooting games and things like that. And I got to play Halo, and that changed it. Right. That changed it a lot for me. I remember at first I was
not just
so
you.
bad.
Halo changed the game. Yeah, Halo changed the game.
I was so bad at first. I think it just had to do with like learning how to control the camera. Yeah. And that was like, it was like, I hated it. I remember hating it so bad. But eventually, like I remember they had these little like chat pads that you can like plug into the Xbox controller and a little mic and stuff. So yeah, I remember playing it on that for a little bit, and I eventually figured it out, obviously, because now I can play COD pretty well.
Right.
But Yeah.
Somewhere along the line it clicked.
Oh yeah, it definitely clicked. I remember taking a break though after Xbox. Like there was a point in time, I don't know, it was a few years that I didn't have an Xbox anymore. And then me and my husband, I don't know if we were married at that time yet. No, we weren't married yet. It was like 2016. So we weren't married yet, but we were just trying to figure out what we wanted to do for like a Christmas present. And we were all like, oh, okay. So we kind of like pitched into it all together and we got the first PlayStation. And it was actually one of the Call of Duty World War II ones. So it has the whole camo on it and everything.
Right. So you got this like the custom skin and everything.
Yeah. And playing that game, like I guess changed my whole, like, I guess it kind of like reawoken that gamer in me that I didn't really like realize it was there. Like I knew I liked gaming at one point, but I didn't think I was going to like gaming if I look back as much as I do now, which is great because I mean, at the end of the day, sometimes it's like I do it like, to decompress. I mean, a lot of people probably do it that way too, but it really, I mean, it doesn't, like when I'm playing games, I don't have to think about what I'm doing 5 minutes from now. I don't have to think about what I'm doing 2 hours from now. I don't think about what I'm going to do 2 weeks from now, which is like a big thing. Like I'm always like trying to plan everything. So me to be submerged in a game, it like mutes everything for me. And I can actually focus at the task at hand, which is kind of relaxing in a way. I guess it's really the only way that I can relax at times.
Yeah, for sure. And like, I feel like there's like almost this like latent danger to that feeling. And like, for me, at least it hits this point where I'm like, I've been putting so much time into this. It's been so calming not to think about other things and just focus on this that, by the time I'm like, okay, now I turn it off and I'm like, oh yeah, there was like 5 things I needed to do. So like, I have a huge problem with like figuring out the best way to handle the hobby from not overtaking responsibility. And that's like, I feel like that's just like the current generation of gamer like challenge.
Well,
like you see those memes all over the place of like people like one more game and then it's like 3 a.m.
Yeah. See, that was a big thing. And then with COVID, I mean, I remember, so the new COD dropped out back in October of last year. I think I bought it in November. I think I waited like a couple weeks. I think I waited till like Black Friday so I could get it on sale, honestly. So I'm just going to do that. So I got it. And then I think when COVID hit, there was like, I remember servers going down on COD because they did not anticipate that many people playing because of everyone staying at home. And that's huge because, I mean, I think gaming has brought in that regard because, we were supposed to be shut down. We weren't supposed to do anything. There was a point where I was gaming literally all day during COVID because I wasn't working. I was laid off. I wasn't going to go do any freelance stuff because
don't get it.
Yeah, I'm not going to
go get COVID.
I'm definitely not going to catch COVID. Or I'm not going to try to, at least. And so, there would be days where I literally would spend every day gaming. And it's just like, well, shit, I don't feel productive at all. And it's just like, but I'm like, no, we're supposed to be doing this. This is what we're supposed to be doing, even though it's kind of like a mind fuck at first because it's like, well, I'm supposed to be going to work, but we can't go to work. So I'm like, well, shoot, I guess I'll go game. But then it's like, I didn't do anything today. Like,
right.
Yeah.
No, that is a big challenge of the whole quarantine situation is how to remain productive while, your primary source of productivity is now off limits. And like, I would say like Lena and I were a little bit lucky with the whole COVID situation because we were already working from home. Like she was already working from home because she had left a job where we had met, and I had left the year prior. Left code got fired because I had huge disagreements with management, and they looked for an excuse to fire me. I'm not salty about that. Anyway. But yeah, so I went into the realm of like, well, you know what? Screw the whole employee thing. I'm just going to go start my own my own business. I'm going to start out contracting and then, see where that goes from there. And it actually opened up because of my skill set to being something that I could do, on the full time, have an income coming in and not having to go to a location. And so the only like requirements I had for my house was like, if I have internet, I can work. And that was about it. So COVID shows up and it's like, well, I can still work as long as there's work coming in from clients. And a lot of what we were seeing is like, it was a little bit of a dry spell, but we would get the occasional project coming in every once in a while. And it was enough to kind of sustain us. And then now that things are like starting to open up a little bit more, we're just like inundated with projects. And like, I am just like scrambling to try and like keep up. Even like thinking about hiring people to like subcontract, like you go do this part, I'll do this part and we'll get it pushed.
Yeah.
But yeah, COVID was a mess for like the productivity front. And yeah, I definitely fell headlong into just playing games for a while when we had no projects going on.
Yeah, I did too. Like I literally would like get up, pace the house, and I had just got done playing video games. It's like, well, shoot, like, and I'm a person that like I have to stay busy. It drives me like I can handle like a day or two, maybe 3 days, 4 days off. But then at that point, it's like, okay, I have to work. Like I do. I don't know. It just gets to the point, like, I mean, I can work if you're paying me to play video games too, but it was just like, I'm not doing anything and I know I need to be doing something. And it was a struggle. I mean, a lot of people were struggling with it. Just because it went against what everything, that we're taught, get up, go to work, eat, sleep, go home, repeat.
Right.
And now it's like, some people were lucky enough to be able to do the things at home. I mean,
and that was not available for everybody. There were a lot of people that like, it was just done. You were fired or laid off or let go, however you want to put it.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, a company said, we can't pay you anymore because we're too busy paying ourselves.
Yeah. Right.
But yeah, I mean, it is one of those weird situations of like, how do you balance playing games with like also being productive? And I think that's where streaming is like such a interesting thing, in that it is kind of like this weird mental gymnastics. You have to like retrain yourself from like what you were taught as a kid. Like for me, I grew up in that like Christian conservative home. And if I played games for like 4 hours, it was just like, what are you doing with your life? You're not doing anything productive. You're wasting your time. And then now it's like, well, if I had just ignored you and just kept playing games and got really good at them, it could be sitting on like a lot of money. Who am I kidding? I'm actually like, I am god awful at first person shooters. Like, do not make me part of your team. I will let you down. Let me put it that way.
Thanks for letting me know that. Like, at least people like,
yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah. Like, I want to join your squad. Okay. So like I literally had someone say like, well, like they asked me, so it's like, oh, so did you just buy the game? And I'm like, no, I play. Oh, do you really know how to play the game? Yeah, I know how to play the game. Like, what do you think? Because I'm a girl? I mean, obviously, he literally says, are you kind of like one of the persons that just runs around and like doesn't carry the team? And I'm like, no, I literally know how to play the game. And then I sent my stats, and then they were like, oh, you're better than me.
Yeah, right. So that's a weird thing. Like, I don't understand why KDR isn't just like public. I feel like KDR should be public when it comes to matchmaking. So like, this person is legit. Like their kill death ratio is nuts.
I think that should be something though. For sure. Yeah. Like literally someone's like, I don't even know how to check my stats. Like how do you not know to check your stats? Like,
right.
Like to me, like that's me. Like I don't check them like every day because that's like obnoxious, but
right.
I will periodically, like maybe every other month or every couple months, my husband will check his, and like he might have a better KDR than me, but I might have more wins than him,
Right.
Or like in COD, World War II. I'm gonna try to see what it said. It was, I don't have the disc in, but it's like score per minute. So like how many, like I guess, yeah, the score per minute. My score per minute on World War II is like over 500. So I can get over 500 points in a minute or under on World War II, which is really great. Like, means I'm wrecking people. And his is like maybe in like the 300s, 400s. So, and like we'll go to the stats and you'll show the leaderboards and stuff like that. And I'll see people that's like, either higher or lower than me. And my score per minute though is like way higher than what theirs are. And it's just like, okay, I'm not bad.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like that could also be just like a signifier of play style. So like if your points per minute are higher, it sounds to me like you're an aggressive player. Like you go for like the aggressive tactic as opposed to a conservative tactic.
Sometimes it depends on what mode I'm playing or what map. So,
well, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. So like, if it's a bigger map, then, I will pull out a sniper and I have no problem. Like, in World War II, there was one that I would get loads of sniper kills. Like you could tell people I don't know if they do it in that game. I don't think so, but, in COD, they have like the voice cam that after you kill someone, you hear like the clip of what they say, like while you're killing them. Oh, if they did that in World War II, that would have been priceless.
That would make me so salty.
That would have been so priceless. Like it really would, because like I know a lot of people hate snipers.
Right? Because you're gonna get that replay, and it's just gonna be like, "Gotcha, bitch." Yeah, and then and you're dead. And you're like, "Oh." Yeah, that would make me so salty. Mm-hmm. I don't know if I could handle that one. If there's an option to turn that off, I would turn that off in a second.
No, you can't. You can't turn it off on Modern Warfare. But it's not in World War II. But I think if they offered that, or if they had brought it in, that feature in there, that would have been perfect. Because I mean,
you're a shit talker, aren't you?
I'm not a big shit talker. I won't say that, but if I get pissed, I will let them know. Like I try to, like when I'm streaming, I try to get a grasp on it because it's like you're being watched. Right. Because I mean, some people rage hard, and I won't lie. Yeah. I can't say that I haven't raged. Like I definitely have raged quite a bit. I haven't thrown a controller yet, so that's a good thing.
Oh, nice. Oh, nice.
So that's pretty good. Now I've dropped my controller a couple times. That's difficult, but yeah, I don't know. Like I want to play other games. The only big thing for me with gaming is I can't handle. I know it sounds so weird, but I can't handle a lot of gory stuff. I can't even watch TV half the time. Like my husband has to watch a lot of the TV shows that have blood in it, because I usually pass the fuck out when I see that kind of stuff. It doesn't even have to be real. It can be on TV. It can be real, and I'll still do it too then. So like
that is fascinating.
Yeah. So
sorry, like that fascinates me. You're a person who plays, largely plays.
Yes, I know. So
FPS games, and the idea of, I guess Call of Duty is not like super gory.
They have a gore mode that you can turn off. So that was the biggest thing is that in World War II on PlayStation you cannot turn it off. I think you can turn it off in PC. On that game, or maybe I think it was PC you can turn it off on, but in PlayStation you cannot turn gore off on Call of Duty World War II, which is really hard for me because at first, when we first started playing, they had what's the mode? The campaign. Right. And I like to try to play some of the campaigns that they offered in previous CODs. And actually some of them I actually went from start to finish, which is great. Like the remastered one, I think it was Infinite Warfare. I think that one was remastered. I finished that campaign from start to finish last year, which was nice.
Is that the one that had Kevin Spacey as the bad guy? Or am I thinking the wrong one?
Let me see if I'm thinking if it's the right game. Okay, so it is Call of Duty Modern Warfare Remastered. So it was the first one. So the current one is just Modern Warfare. But this one, it was the first one. So they have, like, this is technically the second Modern Warfare, but they didn't call it number 2, which is weird, but Yeah. So that's
always confusing.
It is. So this is the newest one is technically the second one. But the first one, they remastered it. And I think PlayStation dropped it out, or PlayStation Plus dropped it out for free. And so of course, I downloaded it, the remastered version, and I played the campaign start to finish. You don't really see a lot of blood in that one, which was fine. But when we first got World War II, I started playing the campaign, and it was just way too realistic for me. It just was. Like, I was already starting to get nauseous from watching the people dying in it, and I was just like, nope, I can't do it, and I turned it off. And anything that's zombie related, nope, I do not play any fucking zombie games. I do not. No. Any zombie, nothing like that, can't do it. Any vampire games, nope, can't do it. So that's a big thing. I am kind of stuck on COD because I kind of know what to expect from them.
Right.
Like, I know that they're not going to be doing some. I mean, with Warzone recently with the Halloween, when you would open up boxes.
Would it be like a little blood spurt or something?
No, it was like this ghost zombie, or it's not a zombie, it was like this ghost thing that would jump out of the box, and you wouldn't expect it at first. And I literally would jump like 3 or 4 times when it first happened. And I finally got my husband to finally download it because he was playing COD a lot on mobile or on his iPad, and I kept telling him, come on, let's play COD on, and he's like, I don't feel like it. And I'm like, oh, come on, please, I want to play by myself. And he's like, no. Finally he did, and he finally played Warzone, and he was like, oh shit. And I was like, what? He's like, something just jumped out at me. And I was like, oh yeah, it was that box. And he was like, yeah. And yeah, like a couple minutes later, it did the same thing to me, and I jumped too, and I was like, man, I can't get a grip on that. But that kind of stuff is fine. It wasn't like gory or bloody, but I have to watch it. Like, if it looks like in the previews of the game trailer or whatever, I usually won't. I usually won't buy it unless, like, I know there's a way to turn off the gore mode for sure.
Right, which I am actually happy that developers are putting that kind of thing in there. Like, I know Assassin's Creed Odyssey did it, and Ghost of Tsushima does it. There's an option where you can turn off gore, so you can still play the game, and you're basically eliminating the blood spurt animation. Yeah, which I think is
great, because
pretty awesome.
I don't really need to see that. Like, there's another game. It was called like Sniper Elite 4.
Oh yeah,
they have a kill cam in there, and that thing is freaking aggressive.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
it is. I've seen Hitler's balls be shot so many times from Sniper Elite. Like, okay, there's on the one hand, I completely love it. On the other hand, it's like, this is a little bit gratuitous.
It is. It's
but yeah, I think it's hilarious to watch, like, some of these guys get like these angles where there's 5 people where this bullet is just tumbling through them, and inevitably one gets hit in the balls.
Yep. Yeah,
and they're just done. Ball shot dead.
I've definitely had a turn off kill cam on that one.
Yeah, I bet.
I think I was playing on my husband's PlayStation one day, and I think he was like, had to go run somewhere, and he gave it to me, and I forgot that he had his on, and I was like, oh shit. And obviously I realized that he still had it on, so I was like, well, you can have this back. I am not playing this now. But yeah, I mean, I think that with gaming, or the people who are offering that, like I don't know what they'd be called. I guess the people who build it.
Like the developers.
Yeah, the developers. I was stuck. I was like on the tip of my tongue. Yeah, for them to be able to build that into it is really beneficial, because I mean, they're appealing to other people who are sensitive, things like that, which is great. Plus, sometimes after a while, it does get to be like obnoxious. I mean, like with the kill cam, it's literally every time you do like a big kill, it's like, well, I don't want to see that every single time I shoot someone. Like, that's, I don't need that. Like, it just, because it would delay even getting back into the game. So,
right. Yeah, I think there definitely needs to be a balance with something like that, where it's actually like stopping control of the game just to show you information. Like, it's expected out of certain genre types, like RPGs, for example. You're expecting cutscenes. Like, you can't get mad at cutscenes in an RPG. That's part of the experience. But with a first-person shooter, if every time you line up 2 kills, you immediately get a cutscene that's going to last, 45 seconds, maybe a minute. It's like, I would see that as taking me out of the experience a little too much.
Yeah.
So I'm 100% in agreement with that. But I actually, we need to be winding this down. We actually hit our 1 hour mark already. And I think you are going to be busy here soon. So I have one last question for you.
Okay.
Where can people find you?
Okay. Yeah. So I do have a Twitch. I go by Nerdy Little Birdie. I also have
links in the description, by the way. I will add all of these links there. So I'll get those from you later.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. And then I also have an Instagram, and it's a bit long, but it's Musings of a Little Bird. And I don't know what else gaming wise that I have. I think that's really it right now. I mean, I have a Facebook gaming profile too, but I think that one's also Nerdy Little Birdie. It's a Facebook page for gaming, so they could add me there too.
All right. Fantastic. Well, Sirena, it was awesome to have you on this podcast. I am definitely looking forward to maybe bringing you back and hopefully bringing Alina and your hubby on as well. I think it would be awesome to have like a I don't know,
group comment.
Yeah, like a gamer couples kind of thing.
Yeah, that
would be kind of fun.
That sounds fun for sure.
Absolutely. Well, thanks again for jumping on to our podcast, and I'm excited to see where this goes, and I'm excited to check out your stream, see what you're about. I think I actually am already following you. So if you see somebody or see somebody with the name "I'm gonna boop you," that is me.
Okay, I think I saw that the other day. I'm gonna boop you. Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna boop you. That is my primary Twitch, my primary Twitch username. So I'll be checking you out. I encourage any of my listeners check you out. And yeah, this was great. Thanks again.
Thank you for having me on.
Thank you everyone for listening. I hope you had a good time today. If you liked today's episode and want to hear more, please consider supporting the Array Gaming Podcast by becoming a patron at patreon.com/thearray. Becoming a patron gets you access to a private Discord server, exclusive podcast and live stream content, and the Array Swag loyalty programs. Thanks again for listening, and we'll see you in the next episode.